It somehow got worse for the St. Louis Blues after Oskar Sundqvist went down with an injury last night. With the Blues looking to get healthy, we get a huge update coming from Jim Montgomery on the status of the forward moving forward. But not only that, the Blues also make a bit of a shocking move as Doug Armstrong announces a change within this organization that a lot of fans have been looking forward to. There's so much to break down in this. And Darius, before we get into this update on Oskar Sundquist and the Blues not being able to stay healthy, let's dive into this organization change that Doug Armstrong did just announce, where we see Steve Ott will serve as the head coach of the Thunderbird after making changes and firing their coach. And I mean, looking at the Thunderbird, looking at the Blues, both organizations are struggling right now. Springfield, the fourth worst team in the AHL. What is your thoughts on this? We're going to hop into some quotes and what it means for the team, but what is your overall thoughts on just completely changing the head coach?
But before we get too far into the video today, guys, this video is brought to you by Koshi. And when you download Koshi using the link in the description and using promo code DIGESTNHL, you get $20 when you trade your first $100. And whether you're in Texas, California, or right here in St. Louis, Missouri, Kalshi is now live in all 50 states. And Kalshi is the US's largest prediction market where you can trade yes or no on real life events, including sporting events, elections, music, or even the weather at this point.
And I mean, Darius, looking right now, we know football's huge at the moment. You can go trade on Seattle beating the Rams. Everyone wants to see this with a great payout. $20 gets you 34 back. And even if you love college football, you can go through. Everyone loves the big moments of these games. And you can trade right now on the announcer saying what a catch. And with a game like this, you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a big game. Like, something big is going to happen. So $10 returning 24 for what a catch. Like, I have a good feeling that that's going to happen. But Mark, and guys, it's just a better way to utilize your sports and news knowledge. So go down below, download the app using the link in the description, and use promo code DIGESTNHL for, again, $20 when you trade your first $100. And thank you once again to Kalshi for sponsoring this video. Yeah, most times when you look at the NHL and the AHL, usually when your NHL team is good, your AHL team is not as good, and vice versa, right? If your AHL team is very good, you have a really good pipeline, a lot of players are coming through, you're getting ready to retool, and then the NHL team will be good. There are some rare cases like Detroit this year where both teams are very good, right? And Detroit is one of the best AHL teams in the in recent memory at this point, not just in this year. But yeah, Springfield has not been good, and it hasn't necessarily been ranked highly for a development hub either, right? So Steve Ott going down there, working closely with the coaching staff now, already being in the organization, all of these things could bode well for the team and the organization, transitioning to get younger, moving out some older pieces like we know is about to happen, and then he's going to be working with some of the younger talent that could, you know, come up to the team full time next year. So we'll see what happens with that. He's going to be working with guys like Kaskimaki, for example, who spent some time in the NHL. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way. It literally couldn't get worse for, I think, either squad at this point. So it's certainly a move, Mark. It is certainly one of the moves of all time. That is for sure. But at the end of the day, I think that it's just something to keep everything a little bit closer. He's going to be reporting back to, you know, Montgomery and obviously Doug Armstrong on what's going on down there. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way. But it's honestly not a, you know, crazy move in terms of like all of a sudden Springfield is going to be one of the best teams in the league. I don't think that's what it's about. It's about, you know, making sure everything that's going on down there serves the Blues, I think.
And we can see that Doug thanks Steve for what he's done with the organization for the past 2 years, but he said looking forward to Steve Ott taking over in Springfield to push our young guys to get better. The current staff will take over the duties with the Blues for the rest of the season, but he did go into and talk a bit on the fact that, like you said, Steve Ott is going to be able to go down now, work with these young guys, and make that transition a lot easier. We're seeing a lot of times, a lot of teams that flourish with the young guys coming up, they have a dead set system between the AHL and NHL, and when they go from both leagues, you're almost just seamlessly jumping into the exact same system. So with Steve Ott taking over, at least he gets to work with a lot of these young guys. We can see a lot of veterans on the team, but there's also a lot of young talent within this team. Kaskimaki is one of them, of course, that are going to make that jump at some point. Theo Lidstein's another guy, minus 23. Hopefully this helps with their production, but at the end of the day, it's going to be nice to hopefully see them not only climb the ranks, but get more production and use out of the young talent. But what's your guys' thoughts on this? Was this something that you would have done a lot sooner? Who do you think comes up to the Blues as an assistant coach in the future? Let us know all your thoughts down in the comments. But Darius, let's go straight into an injury report. And it feels like a topic every single day, where we did see last night versus the Edmonton Oilers in a game that we don't even want to touch on the final score, of course, but we seen the scary moment. Oskar Sundqvist got hit and went down with a cut from Connor McDavid, and it showed a lot of shock between this fan base with the forward who has already dealt with a lot of injuries, not only this season, but year after year with the St. Louis Blues. Before we get into the quote, Darius, what is your thoughts on just Oskar Sundqvist going down and the fact that this team cannot stay consistently healthy?
Well, first of all, in the injury itself, at first, when he went down, I was watching on the Canadian broadcast, and of course, horrible game, but I was watching most of it just to pick out little things here and there from the Blues going forward against a team like the Oilers. But when he first went down, you think it's like an ankle injury or something like that, or maybe he broke his leg. That's what it looked like along the boards. And they're showing that replay. Then they cut to them, trying to get him off the ice as soon as possible, which you never really see if it was that type of an injury, right? Normally, he would come off on a stretcher or something like that, or maybe they'd help him up and help him off. But that was pretty quick. So then I'm like, okay, he's definitely, cut here. This is serious. And it sounds like he's avoided anything too significant. But at the end of the day, like you said, man, this team, I mean, so unlucky this year. And it's not necessarily the reason they are where they are in the standings or how poorly they've played. But I have to say, probably the worst luck out of any team I've seen this year in terms of injuries. Everybody's gotten it this year. And Sundquist 3 times, I think 2 or 3 times so far this year. I mean, he's missed time due to injury. There's significant timelines still. Not even, like, we don't even know when some of these guys are coming back. So it's been a tough season for them like that. Robert Thomas has been dealing with something all year. Kyrou's missed some time. Nathan Walker missed a significant amount of time. So this has been a tough year for the Blues, and it continues with Oskar Sundqvist. And it's tough too because we're rounding the corner here, heading to the trade deadline, where he is a guy, whether you like it or not, that could be had at the trade deadline as well.
And I think the big thing is we see the quote coming from Jim Montgomery. Likely it didn't touch his Achilles, so it's going to be now. How long is he out? Is it day to day? We got the cut was deep. I don't know how long that takes until he's back and has the flexibility in his ankle without hurting the cut. Now, the big thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, or Darius yourself, but wasn't it him that went down with that injury in front of his spouse where he hit the boards during the final scrim of the preseason? This is a guy that cannot catch a break, and it sucks. Oskar Sundqvist, a big part of this team, though he might not be putting up the points, just looking at what he's brought to the team over the past 3 years. Sonny has been a fan favorite, and now we're looking at the picture of who joins this lineup. Now, looking at this, I do think there's a couple guys, maybe Fabry jumps straight in, but what is your thoughts on this, and do you think maybe they have to call up a guy from the AHL?
It's possible that they call somebody up. I mean, Kaskamaki's seen some time in the NHL this year. I mean, Berggren, right? Like he's been, pretty good since coming to the team, but kind of cooled off too. So he could be an option. They have Fabry waiting in the wings as well. He signed. There was no, it's not like he signed for no reason. They were dealing with a lot of injuries, and now they are again now. So I could see him in the lineup too. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what the plan is in terms of, do they call somebody up from Springfield? They have some extra bodies, and I wonder if they just want to stabilize things in Springfield a little bit. That is one of the reasons that they signed Robbie Fabry, to stop yo-yoing certain guys up and down between the two clubs, right? So we'll see what they ultimately decide, but I don't think this is going to be a short injury. It sounds like he avoided the worst case scenario, but the healing process for this is a lot more complicated than, I strained or I hurt my calf or something like that, right? It's more significant. It affects different parts of the bodies, and if you re-aggravate it, then you're out even longer. So we'll see how that kind of plays out, but I think they want to add some stability to not only this team, the NHL club, but the AHL club as well.
And that's the big thing. But fans, what is your thoughts on this season so far? What is your thoughts on the new changes within the organization? Let us know all your thoughts down in the comments. And speaking of comments, let's go into comment of the day from Ace Rob saying, I'm so glad Holloway's back. Hopefully he gets Kyrou going. And listen, it didn't happen last night, but maybe next game. Let us know how many points we can see Holloway put up in his next game. Are we going to see a hat trick? Let us know all of that down in the comments, and you could be featured on comment of the day. But I've been your host, Mark, with my co-host, Darius. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll be back another episode, so keep your eye for that. But take care, boys.